And good afternoon, and welcome back to another Tech 20 Tuesday. I'm Jeff Whipple, and this is our January month. And this month we're looking at a lot of different Web 2.0 tools that you can use for authoring tools within your classroom in the read-write web. And last week we had a look at wikis, and today we're going to look at the wiki's sister, I guess, if you will, the blog, and looking at blogging in your classroom and how you can use it. Just to let you know, a blog is basically an online web journal. It's one of those Web 2.0 tools that we talk about, where and they started out about the year 2000, just around the turn of the century, and they've developed into a really neat tool for students and other people to become journalists and publishers. And today I'm really excited because we have a couple of guests who have become blogging experts, if you will, and I'm going to turn it over to them. They are Lindsay Levesque and Laura Vale. Lindsay and Laura are teachers at New Maryland Elementary School, and I've invited them to come and spend a few minutes with us today to share about using blogging in their classroom, and they're going to share how they've been using it over the last couple of years. Girls, without further ado, it's all yours. Take it away.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for inviting us to present today. We're really excited to talk to you. Like Jeff said, my name's Laura and my friend here is Lindsay, and we've been teaching together for the past 2 years, and something that we've really enjoyed using over the past 2 years is a blog.
So this presentation has a lot of information in it. We won't get really down to the nitty-gritty, but certainly you're welcome to get in touch with us if you want a copy or want more information. And our purpose today is just kind of give an overview and explain what our motivation was for starting to blog with our students, and to talk about some of the rewards that we've, and most particularly our students, have reaped from their experience blogging.
So why a classroom blog, and why choose a blog? We find that our classroom blog is our #1 motivator for students. It helps motivate everything that they do, and they get excited to share their work on their blog. We also find that it gives them more of a purpose when they're doing their work. They are showing their work to a larger audience, and Lindsay always says that when we went to school, you'd do something, the teacher would see it, and that would be it. And now with our blog, we already have, how many visitors? I think 1,500 visitors already this year. So it really drives home that their work is being seen by a lot of people.
And what you notice right away is that they start to pay more attention to the quality of their writing, and become more thoughtful as to what they choose to share, because they see right away that other people are viewing their writing, and that can be really exciting for them. Parents love it when you have a classroom blog. It gives them updates of what's going on in the classroom. They enjoy seeing pictures of their kids, seeing their kids' work. And one thing that they like to do is compare their work with other students. And sometimes you can be in a parent conference, and one thing that a lot of parents want to know is, how does my child stack up compared to others in the class? And, that can be a bit of a sensitive topic, but with the blog, they can see that right away, and you don't need to delve into that with parents at all.
We also find that it's a great way to store all of your kids' work. We never lose anything anymore because all of it's on our blog. So we can access it from home. It's really easy to correct for us, or to assign marks, and to just see who's staying on task. We also find that it's self-differentiating, so we can use it as much or as little as we want, and kids who can do more, and they find out different ways to be unique and be themselves on their blog.
And one other thing that we notice happens a lot is that students are more apt to read each other's work. And we often notice if it's a PD day or a snow day, or it happens to be a time when the kids aren't at school, even on weekends, they're commenting on each other's blogs. And so it's a great way to get kids to read what their peers are writing, and get inspired by that as well.
Great. So sometimes you do run into a few problems, and often people are reluctant to start a blog because they can only think of the problems. But at the beginning of the year, we run into how-do-I-itis. So the kids are asking us constantly, how do I do this? How do I add a cluster map? How do I post something to my blog? And inevitably in September, we feel a little bit stressed when the kids are starting. But by doing whole class lessons and by getting the kids to become experts themselves on their blog, they can really use their peers as helpers for them. We have a group in our school who love to help, and so we've called them the Techsperts, and they go around and help, and our Techsperts are really helpful with our classroom blog.
One thing that you really have to sort of drive home with kids from the beginning are guidelines for commenting. So we really encourage them to, like I said, read each other's work and comment on each other's work. And you can, in your settings, you can make sure that you approve all comments before they appear on the blog. And it really takes a few minutes each day. It's not a lot of work at all. And something that we had previously found online and we felt were good guidelines for comments. You just see at the bottom of the page there, comments need to be relevant. They need to be positive. And kids are generally really, really good at that. Comment only when you have something to say. And be aware of the conventions you're using and try to use good conventions when you're commenting.
Some of the complaints that we hear often is that teachers have a lack of technology or they have unreliable internet connections. So we've sort of had some trouble with that as well, and we've created a schedule with our students. So sometimes only some students are blogging their work while others are doing work in a more traditional way, or they're typing things up on Word and posting it to their blog when connectivity returns.
Internet safety is obviously an important issue, and we won't dwell too much on that because most of it is obvious to you as teachers. But we always think that we don't consider teaching internet safety an event. It's not something you cover and then move on from. You teach it and repeat it, so constantly reviewing those safety guidelines with your students throughout the year. And you'll notice that they kind of become the police on that, and they'll see me doing something online that's obviously okay for an adult, and they say, oh, you shouldn't put your name on there, whatever. So they really become aware of internet safety and what is appropriate and what isn't. We don't allow students to log in to the blog from home or post any work from home. They can compose things in Word and then they post them from school.
We've put down there that password protect is an option, but it's not ideal. So what we mean by that is that your blog is protected by a password, so only those with a password could see your blog. That's a great way to keep things safe, but it definitely keeps your numbers down for your audience and for visitors to your blog. And we really feel like spreading the word and getting our students' work out there has more benefits than putting a password on our blog.
And actually in the past, we've had parents who have expressed concern about having their child's work on display on a blog. And so we provided them with the option to password protect just their own child's blog. And then what we found is that later on in the year, they'll come back and say, actually, my son or daughter has requested that you remove that password protect because they feel that not everyone is getting to see their work. So you will find that happen from time to time as well. To get started, you have lots of options, and again, I think we won't spend a lot of time on this, but like I said, feel free to get in touch with us if you want to know a little bit more about any of the blogging platforms. We've chosen to go with WordPress. We're comfortable with it now, and so are the kids. KidBlog, Blogspot, there are lots of other options out there, and Jeff would be a good person to talk to about that as well. What we have chosen to do is create one main class blog, which we control, and then to the side are links to each of the students' own individual pages. You can choose to do it like that. You can just have one blog page where you post exemplars. You can have a main class blog and have a rotating schedule where different students have control of that. There are any number of ways to format and use your class blog, and that's the nice thing about it, is it's really mostly to do with personal preference for you as a teacher.
We also take the time to post some of our favorite websites that we use in our class, so research websites or websites to create different presentations, and we leave them up on our website so that the kids can go from home. If they can't remember what we were working on or they can't remember how to get there, they can link it right from the blog. So it sort of becomes a class meeting space after class.
Finding an audience is a really important thing. So, you have a blog, now what? How do we get people on there? So first thing is to just get the word out. And the best way to do that is to tell the kids, because they'll go home and get their parents on there, get their grandparents, their aunts and uncles. And sometimes we'll issue little challenges. Most of the kids have a map on their blog, tracks where visitors are coming from and how many they've had. And so we'll post challenges to them, like, I wonder who can be the first one to get a visitor from South America, or whatever the case may be. It's a great way to work in your social studies. And that's really motivating to kids. And of course, they always rise to the occasion with any challenge you give to them. Take advantage of social networking. So put your blog on your Facebook page, use Twitter, get the word out that you're trying to get as many visitors as possible, and you'll be surprised at how well that works. And the last and most effective thing I find is to comment on other blogs. And the more you do that, and the more you become an audience for other people's blogs, the more you'll draw people into your own. And one of the great resources that I've found for that is commentsforkids.blogspot.com. So take the time to check that out. There are weekly blogging challenges and all kinds of ways to draw an audience into your blog.
Great. So you might think, now that I have a blog, what should I do with it? And really, the sky's the limit with this. We initially thought that our blog would be used for language arts only. So we thought that the kids would post their writing, and then other kids would comment on their writing, and that's how they would get better in writing. And we quickly found out that our blog and other people's blogs are being used for every academic area in school. We're finding that the kids are really loving creating little math videos on how to do certain strategies so that they can access them from home and share with classmates around the world how to do different strategies.
Cluster maps, I mentioned before, is a great way to track visitor locations, and you can incorporate all kinds of math and geography, social studies lessons into that. Like Laura mentioned, using smart videos for kids to post different ways that they're using a math strategy, for example. You can issue questions and challenges for other classes, and that's another great way to boost your readership. Recap field trip, share photos. I mean, the sky's really the limit. There are all kinds of tools out there that will allow you to embed your product into your blog. These are some different examples of class blogs. We just threw ours down there as an example of how you might want to use a blog in grades 3 to 5. The top one there is one that Jeff shared with me, which is an awesome example of a K-2 blog. So really don't think my kids can't do this because they're too little. And then there's also one there that is great example is 6 to 12. So it is a multi-level thing, and don't be afraid to get kids of different ages together and get them blogging. You'll really be amazed at what they can do when they collaborate with each other.
Great. So here's just a screenshot of our cluster map from last year. So last year in total, we had 2,300 visitors from all over the world, and we would get really excited every time we got a hit from a new country or from a continent that we hadn't yet received. So we really used our whole blog to inform our instruction for the year. And as Lindsay mentioned, we used contests a few times to get the kids excited. And there were even some countries on there that we didn't know where they were.
Really, the most powerful and most exciting thing you'll find when you start blogging is the interactivity between your students and people from all around the world. So this was one little example from last year. It was a really kind of tough guy whose dad was away in Afghanistan, I believe, and he didn't say much, but he was so excited the day he got a comment from his dad on his blog. So that was really exciting, and he was keen to share that with everyone else, and it was a great opportunity for us to open that dialogue about what his dad was doing while he was away.
So these comments are from one of our students' family members from Holland. So it got her in touch with a part of her family that she didn't even know existed, which was really exciting for her. And we always try and get the kids to answer their comments. So if so-and-so receives a comment from their blog, then they are responsible to go back in and send a thank you for visiting the blog and asking questions. So it sort of opened that dialogue in between family members, which is exciting.
And a great way is at the beginning of the year, if you have your blog all set to go, is introduce it and show it to parents at Meet the Teacher Night, or if you are in the habit of getting in touch with them by email, just send out the link and explain to them that you're trying to encourage the kids to get readers from all over, and they'll be really, really helpful with that.
So here's just a screenshot of one of our videos that the kids made last year about the double half strategy in math. And we had a lot of views on this video by people from all over the world exploring different math strategies.
This was really cool. This just kind of happened out of the blue. A couple of our students had comments from pre-service teachers attending universities in the States and other parts of the world whose professors had actually assigned to them to visit our blog and leave a comment. And that was really exciting for the kids and a really great thing we felt for pre-service teachers to do and to be aware of how blogging is being used in classrooms.
Great. So we had a visitor at our school, a teacher from Japan, and she taught our whole class how to make rice balls. And each one of our students went on and blogged about their experience. And she took the time to respond to every single one of their posts, which we thought was quite special.
This was really cool, which is a book that some of you might be familiar with, which we were reading in our class. And the nice thing about the internet is it's opened up this whole new world, and people like celebrities and authors are way more accessible than they used to be. So our guys were inspired by this book to write about some of their own small adventures. And we just had a thought that if we got in touch with the author and let her know that these stories written by our students were there on our blog, that she might take the time to visit them, which she did to our excitement. And she took the time to leave a comment on our main page and also on each one of the students' pages who had written about her book. So that was really exciting for the kids and opened up some dialogue with a real author.
Great. Here's an example of a younger grade. This isn't our blog, but I bet all you teachers out there can read this along with us. But it says, we went to Chuck E. Cheese and I played and got coins, and I went down a slide and I went on a Chuck E. Cheese. So underneath here, they have comments, and of course, because it's grade 1, the comments aren't necessarily relevant, but they're very nice. So the comment is, "Hi Haley, do you want to come over? We both have black sweaters on. Can I have a sleepover on the weekend?" So we just think that this is a very genuine way for the kids to communicate, and it allows them to see that people are reading what they're writing.
Procedural writing, commenting on grammar, sharing student artwork and drawings and having them comment on it. Really, the possibilities are endless, and teacher creativity will really shine through there, as well as students. And I can't tell you the number of times that we've been pleasantly surprised to be doing an activity in class and not having even thought of the blog in that particular capacity, and having had the students suggest to us, we should blog about this, or can I do a recap of this for our blog? So they love it as much as we do. that's just an example of an older student and how they use the blog. And so, I mean, that's a really quick overview. Like I said, don't hesitate to get in touch with us if you have further questions, but I guess we can open it up right now for any of you who are still there and have any questions right away.
Yeah, so if any of you have questions for Lindsay and Laura, we would gladly take them. You can either put them in the chat window, or you can open up your microphone and chat with us and Lindsay and Laura. One of the things I find about blogs is that they're just so powerful and personal, and I know that Lindsay and Laura are using these as a writing tool for kids. One of the things that I'm seeing possibilities and people are starting to use them for are for virtual portfolios for older students, say in high school. One of the nice things about WordPress is that it really allows the development of a full-fledged website as well. So blogs have a lot of potential that I'm pretty excited about in schools. So Lindsay and Laura have put in the chat window, you can see that they've put their email address. So if you're looking to get in contact with them, you can. If you're looking to find out more about sort of the mechanics of blogs, then you can talk to Lindsay and Laura, or you can talk to one of your technology mentors somewhere in one of your districts. So there. And Karim had a question. Did you see that, Lindsay?
Yeah, Laura's just typing a response, but I guess we can respond orally that yes, some kids have taken the initiative to create blogs of their own, just personal kind of musings or something specific to share Lego projects or things that they've been doing on their own. So that's another nice kind of spin-off, is they're using those skills they've learned at school to pursue their out-of-school interests.
Absolutely. Okay, well, thank you all. Thank you, Lindsay and Laura. I know that you rushed back from Africa, Lindsay, to do this. That must have been quite an adventure, but I'm sure we'll talk about that some other time. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, and we will see you all again next Tuesday for another edition of Tech 20 Tuesday. A reminder that all of the sessions are recorded and they are archived on the Tech 20 Tuesday website at tech20tuesday.wikispaces.com. I'm Jeff Whipple, and we'll see you all again next week. Thank you all. Bye-bye.